Well, it seems my lucky streak has come to an end temporarily. I just found out yesterday that 2.5 weeks ago I had fallen down and hurt my hip, and found out yesterday it is in fact broken. And also, as you can see, I've got some poison oak on my eye, and on my ear, and in my crotch. And our batteries seem to be malfunctioning in the heat. Gotta pull out the batteries tomorrow and figure out what the heck's going on with that. Or maybe I'll wait till it cools down a little bit. I'm having a hard time, but you know what? I'm not quitting. I'm not giving up. This is the life I want to live. I'm still having the time of my life. So anyhow, that's what's going on.
Wherever I go, I will always know everything I need is right here with me. It's time to let it all go.
So I went to the doctor for a cut that I had on my finger that was getting infected, and I figured while I was there, might as well have them check out my hip. And it turns out, after getting an x-ray, that my hip is fractured on my femur, just at the top where the tendon connects. There's a fracture about that long. So I have 6 to 8 weeks to heal. Just gotta kind of take it easy. They offered me crutches, but I got this cool little cane I've been walking around with, and it's been getting me along just fine. Hopefully I heal and mend well, and I'll be back to running around and doing everything that we're used to doing.
Nick has been having a very rough week, so to cheer him up, our buddy Devin gave him a fancy surprise haircut, which actually turned out to be a pretty neat new hairstyle.
I may have a broken hip, but I got good friends, so a sweet haircut. And a sweet haircut. Thank you, Devin.
So our power just went out. Nick tried to start the generator because the batteries and the solar have been acting weird for a few weeks, and he's just been recovering. He's been having a lot of issues lately. Broken hip, poison oak, some sort of weird, possibly brown recluse bite on his finger. And so we went to turn the generator on, and all the power cut. We have no power. Our batteries are all dead. They have not been getting proper charge for whatever reason. We don't know if it's just because it's been well over 110 for the last week, or if something else has happened.
Alright, so here I am with a broken hip, face full of poison oak, and our batteries just died. And I'm not sure why. When it rains, it pours, man. I'm gonna try to figure out what the heck's going on here. Kinda expected to open this up and see a bunch of melted down batteries. It's been, no joke, between 110 and 117 degrees all week. Our electrical system's been acting kind of funny. Inverter's been turning off really early. It's not supposed to turn off till it's like 12 volts, but it's been turning off at like above 13 volts. I don't really understand why. It's only giving me 4 volts. And our generator, for whatever reason, doesn't want to work anymore. Like, everything just decided to break all at once. So frustrating. I tried to fire up the generator when the inverter died, and then all the power just shut off. And the light's been kind of flickering lately. I don't know, maybe like a rodent got into our wires or something. I'm really struggling to figure this out. I wonder if I could get Caleb's generator.
We're waiting to see if we can get the generator from a neighbor. Hopefully it has fuel, because we don't have any fuel for it. Just to get us through the night so our fridge can stay cold, we can cook and have some lights, use the toilet, because our water pump doesn't even work right now, so we don't even have water. That's where we're at for today. Oh, there you go. Clicked on.
Trying to bolt charge right now?
It says low battery at 13.
It's only giving 2.7 amps of charge.
It's probably
Normally it charges at 100 amps. Something's tripping those batteries. So the batteries have a BMS system, which stands for battery management system, inside each and every battery. If the batteries get too low of voltage, it'll trip the BMS module inside the battery and it'll just cut off all power. The other thing that could happen is if there was like a short circuit, there's a multitude of things that just weird voltage fluctuations, whatever, will shut down the battery. And so that way it protects the individual cells within the battery. And so if you go back and look at the Battleborn battery video, I actually had wired them up wrong, and it created a lot of heat, and it never caught fire because the battery management system actually shut down the battery before anything really bad happened. So I'm guessing the issue here is something to do with the BMS system, because it appears that the inverter's working properly, but the batteries are just so weird. So I borrowed my neighbor's little 2,000 watt generator. It's just running eco mode and it's charging everything. So I think what happened is something inside the battery compartment went kaput. The only way we're getting 12 volts right now is because the inverter is sending 12 volts it thinks it's charging the batteries, but it's only putting out a couple amps, which is just enough to run the lights and stuff. So I need to pull out the batteries, and they're not easy to pull out. It's like a 2-hour ordeal. So I'm not doing it in 107-degree weather, and I'm not doing it tonight. I've got poison oak all over my face, all over my body, and I've got a broken hip, and I'm really tired. I'm going to bed. We're just gonna let this generator run, and that'll keep the fridge going and everything will be hunky-dory. It's supposed to be 107 tomorrow, so I'm probably not gonna do it tomorrow, so maybe Saturday, a couple days from now, when it's only 90 degrees, and we'll do it. This is why we usually don't hang out in 100-degree weather. Usually go where the weather is what we want it to be, but we're trying to be here right now. That's what's going on. Wish us luck, send us good vibes, we need it. The challenges continue. Something is tripping our battery management system and shutting off the batteries. Inside our Battleborn batteries, there's 6 batteries, and each one of them has their own battery management system, and if it senses a voltage fluctuation or too low of a voltage or a short circuit or anything, it'll shut down the power to the battery, preventing a fire, which is great. Unfortunately, something is triggering that system right now, so I gotta pull each and every battery out and inspect it and see if I can find the issue, and then possibly send a battery in for some warranty work. I have no idea. We're gonna find out. See anything right off the bat. Whenever you're dealing with electrical, you want to disconnect your ground first. That way your hot lead cannot ground out against all kinds of stuff on the frame. So our ground is disconnected from our shunt. The battery's been performing flawlessly for us. The first issue we've had in 2 years. We've just been using them all day, every day. Charge, discharge, charge, discharge. Run the air conditioner on them, whatever we want. But we've been avoiding the hot weather because, well, the hot weather seems to destroy everything. So this is the first time they've lived through the massive heat of a California summer, and I think it was just too much for them. This might be a Joplin job.
Alright guys, sorry for my appearance. I wasn't planning on being on camera today, but Nick can't lay on his broken hip to get these batteries out, so I've been doing it. And honestly, I don't even know how you put them in there. You need hands half the size of my tiny little baby hands to even fit tools in there. This is a very difficult task. I managed to get the first 3 out. I'm gonna take a break, have some lunch. That's a huge task. We're gonna test those and see if they're getting any charge, if they're still good. And maybe we'll move on to the next 3 if we don't find anything wrong. But upon first visual inspection, they look pretty normal. I don't see anything strange or unusual or broken. Wires all look good, connections were all good and tight. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but we'll continue to search for an answer.
So we're testing the voltage on the batteries right now. And they're giving us 14.39 volts. Which means it's fully charged.
It's about the same.
14.36.
1434. So all of those are fully charged, so maybe it's the other 3. We'll pull them out, I guess. Maybe this is just the inverter.
All the terminals look good, nothing's melted.
I didn't see anything weird. The wires all look good.
What you check for is an abrasion in the insulation. So if you can look at this plastic around here and you see that, you know, some of the plastic's been worn away, or what you really don't want to see is actual metal showing. If you see copper, then that's really bad. And that needs to be dealt with. And that would cause the issue that we're having, but I'm not seeing any of that. It all looks fine.
So we've got all 6 batteries out. We've tested them all. They're all just under 14.4 volts, which is normal. That's the normal operating voltage. They're all completely fully charged, which is what we've been experiencing with our inverter telling us all week, but for some reason we're not getting power still. So we're gonna rule out the batteries, or at least I am now. Nick's away at the moment. I'll let him double rule that out. So I guess the next step is to rule out the inverter and the solar charge controller and see if one of those have gone bad or faulty, or maybe something came loose. This kind of seemed to be spiraling downhill since we got back from our Lost Coast adventure, which is a very rough, shaky, bumpy road. So I'm hoping it's just something that rattled loose that we haven't come across yet, even though we've checked all of our connections and everything once. Can't hurt to do it again, but we'll keep trying until we find the source of this, because we really need our power.
I tested the battery, it's at 14.32. Correct. So we have 1, 2, 6 batteries. Okay, this is positive, this is negative, this is positive. The way that we have these wires wired up is in parallel. Okay, so parallel means your positive goes to your positive, and your negative goes to your negative. And then once you've done all that, you've increased the amps, or the amp hours rather. This is 100, each one of these is 100 amp hours, and each one of these is 12 volts. So when you connect these in parallel 6 times 100, you get 600 amp hours at 12 volt. Okay, so that's our battery bank. Okay, so now we have the multi-plus inverter charger, and it has positive, it goes to here, and the negative goes all the way over and connects to the other side of the battery. Okay, and there's a shunt right here, and that
essentially is your battery monitoring system. We have the solar charge controller. The negative goes to the load side of the shunt. The inverter charger is also on the load side of the shunt. Positive side of this goes to the positive terminal on the same exact terminal as the inverter charger. I'm running 1/aught cable, and he recommended I run 2/aught or 4/aught. And that is gonna come in when we're doing heavy loads like running the air conditioner. So that's our job, is we gotta rewire the whole system. It's gonna be interesting for sure. Question is, everything's so tight in there, is it even possible to fit 4/aught cable in there?
Oh.
You know?
No.
It's so tight. Like, you're talking double the size.
No.
Maybe triple the size wire.
Those don't even fit. Well, 2/aught maybe. But beyond that, I don't think so. There's no room.
Alright, so seeing as how I have a broken hip, probably shouldn't be crawling around on the ground. So Jacqueline is going to play electrician today. So I'm just gonna talk her through it, and we're gonna load test these batteries and see. We're gonna individually load test these batteries and see if there's something wrong with the batteries, or if there's something wrong with our wiring, or if there's something wrong with the solar charge controller or the inverter charger. We don't know where the issue is. All we know is we're having an issue. Whenever we put a load on the batteries, they turn off. As you can see, Jacqueline's looking quite electrified in her Electra Threads sweater.
I unplugged it because I don't mess with electricity. I don't play games that Nick plays. So yesterday we checked all the batteries and they're all fully charged. We're gonna check them one by one today with a load on them. See if we can find something.
Okay, so if you go to the left side of the box, that's your left, and look up where the wood paneling starts.
After individually load testing all 6 batteries, we came to the conclusion that 2 are for sure bad and placed a warranty claim with Battleborn Batteries. They promptly overnighted us 2 replacements. As of now, we haven't been able to continue this project due to a massive storm coming in later this evening. Heavy rains are expected to last for 5 days. You'll have to join us next week to see if the storm is let up with enough time for us to figure out this issue. Thank you for watching this episode. We really appreciate every view. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing so you'll never miss another episode. And we'll see you next Tuesday for another adventure.
Look like shit.